The Carolina Panthers have been stuck in the basement of the NFL for about the last decade now. There was a time when Carolina was a contender, but it's been nothing but disappointment as of late. That was until maybe now. Bryce Young was labeled a bust after his rookie season, and that very well looked to be the case. He's had his moments, but certainly hasn't lived up to the expectations of being a first overall pick. But at the end of the day, if the team around him is good enough to win, it doesn't really matter much. And a lot of the credit of Carolina's turnaround belongs to Dave Canales, who's in his second season at head coach. He was hired after reviving supposedly washed quarterbacks' careers, and now he's doing his best with Bryce Young. This season, Carolina has gone from worst to pretty solid fast, and for the first time in a minute, there seems to be actual hope for the future of this franchise. I think it's safe to say that the Panthers have been a joke for a while now. Ron Rivera did have some pretty good seasons and obviously made it to that Super Bowl, but ever since he got fired in 2019, it's been all bad. They hired Matt Rule, who had a proven track record of successfully turning around college programs, but the NFL is a different beast, and it definitely showed. He just never put it all together. Carolina won 5 games of each of his first 2 seasons, and then Rule got fired after starting 1-4 in 2022. Frank Reich was then hired in 2023, fresh off of getting fired by the Colts, which was a complete disaster in and of itself, but he only made it 11 games before getting the boot with a single win. That led to another coaching search, the third coaching search in 5 years. And counting interim coaches, it was a search for the 7th different acting head coach in 6 seasons. Yeah, things have been pretty bad in Carolina when it comes to coaches, but maybe the right guy is there now, and that's Dave Canales. He was on a stretch of a ton of success before getting the job. He was with the Seahawks for a long time and was the quarterback's coach and passing game coordinator for Geno Smith. Under Canales, Geno ended up reviving his career and was the comeback player of the year. Canales then went to Tampa Bay as the offensive coordinator and helped Baker Mayfield turn around his career. Dave Canales had a good track record, so it made sense for him to be a serious head coaching candidate. And as for the landing spot, Carolina also made a ton of sense. He essentially worked miracles for Geno and Baker, and Carolina was in desperate need of a miracle themselves, trying to figure out Bryce Young. And I think it's safe to say that that's why he landed the job. Bryce Young had just wrapped up his rookie season that definitely could have gone better. Carolina went 2-15, and Bryce threw for 11 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That team was terrible, and it was a really concerning situation for a rookie quarterback to be in. Remember that the Panthers made an insane commitment to Bryce Young by trading a ton to get that number 1 overall pick. They had to give up DJ Moore, 2 first-round picks, and 2 seconds. Of course, that 2024 first-round pick then ended up being the number 1 overall pick, and that ultimately gave the Bears Caleb Williams. That's just an embarrassing trade looking back, and it's even more reason why the Panthers need Bryce Young to work out, but he certainly didn't show signs of it as a rookie. No, he still wasn't great year 1 with Dave Canales, but he was a lot better. Bryce improved to throwing 15 touchdowns to 9 picks and also rushed for 7 touchdowns. It still really wasn't good enough for where he was supposed to be by then, but it was an improvement. He did get benched after week 2 for Andy Dalton because he was just so bad to start the season, but he did get the job back in week 8 after Dalton suffered a thumb injury in a car accident. The Panthers finished the season at 5-12, which isn't exactly a surprise for a rebuild season and a first-year head coach. There needed to be some sort of actual progress as time went on, and that's exactly what Carolina has had this season. They won 5 games all of last season, and this season, they've won 7 already. The process seems to be working for Dave Canales. It was still a slow start for the Panthers this season. They opened up the year 0-2 with losses to the Jaguars and the Cardinals. The Jags are solid, and that was Liam Cohen's debut at head coach, so maybe there was some debut magic there, but the Panthers struggled and definitely deserved to lose the game. Bryce Young threw 2 picks, and Travis Etienne just ran all over them. The next week was another loss coming to the Cardinals, who aren't exactly a good team right now, but they managed to start 2-0, but have fallen off since. Bryce played well in the matchup. He had 3 touchdowns and a pick. Hunter Renfrow caught 2 touchdowns, and Ted McMillan had 100 yards, but the Panthers were down 27-3 and just couldn't complete the comeback. At the very least, there was some good fight at the end of that game though, and it spiraled into the next week, a 30-0 blowout win against the Falcons. It wasn't close at all, but the stats really don't make any sense in comparison to the score. Michael Penix threw 2 picks and Nathan Carter fumbled, all of which makes sense, but the Falcons somehow outgained the Panthers 332 yards to 224 and then had 17 first downs to Carolina's 15. Just a very odd blowout to say the least, where the offense wasn't really great. Then the next week, the Panthers got crushed 42-13 by the Patriots. It was in Foxborough and was really the beginning of the Pats' 9-game winning streak right now. Carolina really just couldn't do much on offense in the game, and that made it a 1-3 start to the season. Not the end of the world, but not ideal. Luckily though, the schedule is set up for some easy matchups, and the Panthers have often played well enough to win games. Carolina rattled off a 3-game winning streak to go from 1-3 to 4-3. It really didn't come against the best teams, but it was a 3-game winning streak nonetheless, and it came after Chuba Hubbard got hurt and Rico Dowdle took over, and he's been the starter since for good reason. The Panthers escaped to beat the Dolphins 27-24 after trailing 17-0. Dowdle just went off with 206 yards and a touchdown, and he turned around and performed the next week, going for 183 yards against the Cowboys in what was really a revenge game for him. Bryce Young had 3 touchdowns and a pick, and Dak Prescott played well with George Pickens going off, but it just wasn't enough for Dallas. Ryan Fitzgerald then drilled a 33-yard field goal at zeros to win it for Carolina. The Panthers then played the Jets in week 7, and it was every bit as unwatchable as you'd expect. Xavier Legette caught the only touchdown in the game, and it was really a snooze fest, and to make matters worse, Bryce Young went down with an ankle injury that caused him to miss the next week against the Bills, and that game was ugly. The Panthers got absolutely killed at home 40-9. Josh Allen had 3 total touchdowns and James Cook had 2. That was a good reminder that while the Panthers are improved, they're a ways from the top. But having to start Andy Dalton that week does make it pretty hard to evaluate the loss. Carolina then came up with a pretty impressive win on the road against the Packers the next week. Bryce Young only had 102 yards and threw a pick, but the defense held Green Bay to just 13 points and Dowdle ran for 130 yards plus 2 touchdowns. But then, in classic NFL parody fashion, Carolina somehow managed to lose to the New Orleans Saints the following Sunday. Young had 2 turnovers, and the defense allowed 2 Tyler Shuck passing touchdowns. That put the Panthers back at 500 before having to go to Atlanta for round 2 in week 11. That game was probably the most exciting Falcons game this season, and it was really a gritty win too. Bryce Young played likely his best game of his entire career. He had 448 yards, a franchise record, 3 touchdowns, and didn't turn the ball over. Ted McMillan had 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Penix wasn't great and had to get replaced by Kirk Cousins because of a knee injury. Carolina scored on a Tet touchdown catch with 1:08 remaining, but the Falcons still sent it to overtime with a Zane Gonzalez field goal with 16 seconds remaining. The Panthers then forced a 3-and-out, and Ryan Fitzgerald ended it to win 30-27 to get the Panthers to 6-5. Carolina did return to 500 the next week in what was a pretty underwhelming performance against the 49ers. The offense just couldn't get going at all, and they ended up losing 20-9. Brock Purdy played awful in the game, by the way, and threw 3 interceptions, but Bryce Young didn't help the team, throwing 2 picks himself to go with a single touchdown and 169 yards. But then Carolina got their biggest win of the season by far, beating the Rams and Matthew Stafford. We're talking about the likely Super Bowl favorite and MVP favorite, and somehow the Panthers found a way to win. Stafford threw 2 picks in the game after he had only managed to throw 2 on the year before that, and Bryce Young played well, 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. Carolina had 164 yards rushing, and it was really a back and forth bout, but it came down to a 43-yard touchdown catch by Ted McMillan with 6:34 left. The Rams had a chance late, but a Stafford fumble on 3rd down that was recovered by Carolina was ultimately the end, stopping a likely field goal attempt on the next play. That got Carolina to a pretty surprising 7-6, just behind the 7-5 Buccaneers in the NFC South. It's been an impressive impressive turnaround, and Bryce Young has been getting better, but still isn't great. He's up to 2,337 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions with a rushing touchdown through 10 games. It definitely could be his best pro season to date, but still probably isn't good enough. He just hasn't lived up to expectations, but that doesn't mean that he can't be a decent NFL quarterback. But the fact of the matter is that he was a first overall pick, and that comes with a lot of pressure. Now, one guy that I think has a very bright future and can certainly help Bryce is Ted McMillan. He went 8th overall in this past year's draft and is proving why so far as a rookie. He's up to 57 receptions for 826 yards and 6 touchdowns in 11 games. All of those, by the way, lead the team. You can just see the talent that he has, and that's huge for Bryce Young to have because the other weapons haven't exactly been very good. Rico Dowdle has been taking over the ground, and he's just been really good. He has 929 yards and 5 touchdowns now, and he's essentially stolen Chuba Hubbard's job. It really is impressive to see what Dave Canales has been able to do in only 2 seasons. He had a good track record for a reason, and it seems like the Panthers made the right call hiring him. Once again, after years of disappointment, Carolina seems to be an actually competent football team. Something I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't see coming.